Hey guys, welcome. I am Kate. This is a quick core fix class for those days when you don't have a lot of time, but you want to get in and get something done and move on with your day. Grab yourself a block, a quiet space to roll out your mat, and I will see you in a few. Okay guys, we are going to start on our back. So you can have your block at the ready. We're not going to need it right away. And come to rest on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. You can let your arms rest on your stomach or on your side, whatever feels most comfortable. So we're just going to start with just a little bit of spinal flexion. We're going to just feel a little bit of movement through the pelvis, right? So when you inhale, you're going to arch your back. The pelvis stays on the floor, but you want to start to tilt the points of your pelvis up so you've got a lot of space underneath your low back. And when you exhale, scoop your tailbone and press the center of your lower back into the floor. Squeeze the belly in. Inhale and arch. And exhale and round. And just maybe 2 or 3 more of these, just to kind of get the feeling of what it feels like when your back is off the floor versus how stable you feel when it's on the floor. All right, one more. Inhale, arch. And lift the low back. And exhale, you're going to round. Scoop that tailbone, pull your belly button back into your spine. And then at the end of that exhale, you're just going to find a neutral spine here and just take a second and just notice the curves of your spine, right? Your back of the neck is going to lift up off the floor and the center of your upper back is pressed down, right? But some of us have a pretty good lift through the low back. So there may be a bit of space between your low back and the floor. So when we work core muscles, if we don't engage them properly, then we start to tax the low back, right? Or if we're not strong enough to do the certain things that we're trying to do, then we end up using the muscles in the low back versus the muscles in the core to support, right? So we're going to try to avoid that today and do everything we can to really focus on core muscles. It's super low impact, but not low on the intensity scale, I hope, right? So now you're going to pull your belly button back toward your spine and just notice when you do that, that you can almost feel that your low back is like tacked into the floor. That's what we want to keep here. Through the course of the exercises that we're going to do, if you start to feel like your low back is jutting off the floor and we're doing stuff and you're like, then we need to rewind, reassess, and re-engage through the core and feel where you can start to again feel that back body on the floor, okay? Okay, so relax your stomach for a second because maybe you were just holding on the whole time I was talking. So soften. And now again, you're going to engage. Belly button draws back toward the spine. Feel where the back presses into the floor. And we're just going to start easy. So you're going to lift your feet off the floor. So your thighs are perpendicular and your shins are parallel with the floor. And your feet can be relaxed. You're going to take your hands on the front of your thighs. Take a breath in. And when you exhale, you're going to squeeze the knees in, but use the hands to resist. Inhale, release. Exhale and squeeze. Easy peasy. Inhale and release. Exhale and squeeze. And you can pick the intensity with which you want to drag your legs in. You can go super hardcore and really pull your belly back. Or you can take it easy and just get used to what this feels like. So this is a great exercise to start with because it has, it teaches you kind of exactly where you want to be feeling it and exactly how you want to work your core muscles. So it's a good place to locate and warm up. We're going to go for 30 more seconds. I got a convenient little timer set here, so don't panic. Or panic. That's okay, but we're early on, so maybe not quite yet. Keep the belly button drawn in and squeeze. And just get steady with your breath. You can almost find a really comfortable rhythm. See, that was nothing. A really easy rhythm to get to go, right? So you can let your feet rest on the floor for a second. That was literally a second. You're gonna lift your feet back up. So we've got the same position with the legs, but now I'm gonna take the arms up. All right, so this one is kind of a brain workout also. but it's good for stabilizing the pelvis, for stabilizing your core, and if you're a runner, then you've probably done this before. So you're gonna keep the knees bent, and when you inhale, you're gonna take the right heel and tap it toward the floor, and take the left arm and stretch it back behind you. When you exhale, pull them back up the center. And we're just gonna switch. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Exhale, and switch. And just go gently, side to side, keeping everything as steady as you can. So the arm and the leg that's not moving really want to get involved in what's happening here, but try to keep them steady through the center. Belly button stays glued in toward your spine. Your low back should still feel nice and kind of pinned into the floor. And again, this shouldn't be anything that taxes your low back. There's no crazy extension here. Just keep going. This is one that you could probably do for a while, which is fine. So we're gonna do 3 more on each side. Here's 2. The tendency with core work, here's the last one, is to wanna kind of speed through it, but we're gonna take our time. All right, and then drop your feet to the floor. You're gonna grab your block and take the block so it's on its narrow level and short end toward your nose. And it's gonna be the same leg position once you get the block. So squeeze the block between your thighs, lift back up, arms out to the sides, palms face the floor. So you're gonna try to keep your shoulders steady here. Keep the belly button dragging back in toward your spine, still supported through the low back. Now you're gonna take your knees while you squeeze the block and tilt them over to the right side, like, I don't know, 1/3 of the way down toward the floor. Keep squeezing the block, and as you do, feel how your belly button can now start to drag toward the left. That's it. And come back up through the middle. And let the knees tilt, I don't know, 1/3 of the way over to the left side. And now you're gonna pull your belly button against the twist and to the right. That's it. And then back up through center. And now we're gonna take the knees over maybe halfway. If 1/3 of the way felt good and it was challenging, then you can stay there. If you wanna go a little bit farther, you can squeeze the block, drag your belly button over to the left. Inhale up through the middle. And when you exhale, take those puppies over to the left. Shoulders steady, squeeze the block, belly button in and over to the right. Up through the middle, keep the core tight. And now we're gonna take those legs and drop them over to the right until maybe they hover just above the floor. Feel that left shoulder ground down, squeeze the block, belly button in and over to the left. Up through the middle. And then legs over to the left side. Keep the squeeze, hover them above the floor. Keep the squeeze. And then up through the middle. You're gonna drop your feet to the floor, take the block out for just a second and let it kind of sit at the side. And now from here, you're gonna let the shoulders relax, and with the feet flat on the floor, again, feel where you can pull the belly button in, low back supported on the floor. This next exercise you can do several ways. So we're gonna pull the right knee into your chest, right? And without using the hands, you just wanna feel where you can drag that leg in. So the first place to start is with this left foot flat on the floor. If your low back starts feeling tender, or if it starts to tense up as we're doing this, this is the place to come with the extended leg, okay? Otherwise, you're gonna take your left leg, stretch it out along the floor, flex the left foot, push the left foot toward the top of the mat as you squeeze your right knee deeper in. Take a breath. And when you exhale, we're gonna switch. Left leg in, right leg stretches out, heel still on the floor for a moment. And you wanna feel that, that opposing force pushing that way, and then the other force pulling this way, right? And then switch. Keep squeezing in Inhale. And when you exhale, switch. Okay, so the next round, we're gonna take it up a notch. You can keep this leg on the floor, or as you exhale and switch, you can float that leg up. Stay in mind that you want this back still settled on the floor, and switch. If your low back starts to rocket off the floor, then drop the leg again and switch. Keep pulling in with the right, press out through your left heel, and switch. Same thing, left knee in, right foot presses, and switch. Belly button drags back toward your spine. Try to notice if you've gotten tense anywhere you want to relax, and switch. Crack those toes, your ankles, and switch. Anything to distract, right? That's my tendency. Pull your right knee in, push away through your left heel. One more to the left. Squeeze and push. And then pull the right knee in. And rock a little bit side to side, maybe some circles on your low back, but ideally you shouldn't be feeling anything too crazy. Then you're gonna drop your left foot to the floor, take your hands behind your right thigh, stretch your right leg up for a second, point and flex. And again, if you wanna roll out the ankle, you can. Get rid of the pops and the cracks. Okay, and then switch. Right foot down, left leg up, just working a little bit into your hamstring. If your hamstrings feel super tight, you can pause the video and take a second, take longer than the seconds that we're taking here, right? All right, so you're gonna place both feet on the floor and grab your block again. So this one starts to get a little bit more intense on the core. So again, if you start to feel the low back lifting, Memphis is on the prowl. If you start to feel the low back lifting, you wanna peg it down, rewind, and find where you can still safely work, right? So now you're gonna bring the block long ways in between your feet. Now you don't really want a heavy block here. Otherwise, if you drop it on your nose, it might hurt, right? Okay, so we're here, a belly button drawn back, shoulders and your arms relax. Just start to make some circles. And notice how when you circle the block, you start to feel just a gentle churning in your belly. Like you can feel the muscles of your belly kind of working around in a circle. And then you're gonna start to take the circles and maybe make them a little bit bigger. And find your edge. That place right before you start to kind of lift off the floor. And you'll notice it more when your legs go down and around. Just a couple more circles. Belly button back. Staying as supportive as you can. Stay big with the circles, but go in the other direction. Getting low there. Maybe a little too low. And then start to make your circles smaller, but don't rush it. It's tempting. And smaller. Keep squeezing that block, and smaller and smaller. Keep churning that belly until you come all the way back to center. Okay, bend the knees for a second. I need to fix my block, so take a second, and then you're gonna replace. Same thing, same squeeze and lift. All right, so now from here, you wanna feel core engaged, right? We're gonna take the block down and over to the right. We're gonna draw a triangle in the air, and then take it while the legs are still down, across and over to the left. And then draw it back up through center. And then down and over to the left. Down through the middle of the bottom of the triangle, and then up and over. And then down and over to the right, across the bottom of the triangle, and then back up to the point. Down and over to the left, across the bottom of the triangle, and then up into the point. And to the right, a couple more times, over to the side, and up. To the left, over through, Don't lose that block. And up. One more time to the right. Down and over. Across the bottom. Up through, and one more time to the left. Down and over. Across. And back up. Okay. Whew, you can bend your knees. Plant your feet for a second. Check out your legs. All right. And now from here, shoulders, back of the head, everything settled back into the floor. Arms relaxed. Take your legs and we're gonna point them up. So if your hamstrings are super tight and your legs are bent, that's totally fine. Perfectly legal, right? I'm gonna try to straighten my legs. My hamstrings are feeling kind of tight today too. All right, so now from here, you wanna start to work this spot right underneath your belly button, like you were gonna put on a pair of jeans that were too tight, and you have to kind of squeeze in to zip it up, right? We've all been there. So when you exhale, you're gonna lift your heels and squeeze. Inhale, release. Exhale, lift those heels and squeeze. And release, and squeeze. And release. We're going for 10. Here's 4, and release. And 5, and 6. Here's 8. 2 more. 9. And 10. All right, take your feet wide. Keep flexing your feet. You're gonna bring your hands together, maybe come into tempo with the hands if that helps, and lift up. We're gonna go for 10 here. Pulse in. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, pull your knees in. Rock a little bit side to side. Okay, here we go. You ready? We're gonna do those 2 exercises again, right? So relax your shoulders, arms to the side, legs straight up. Just 10 pulses, heels up toward the ceiling. 10, 8, 7, 6. No momentum here, no use of the arms. 4, 3, belly in and up. 2, and 1. Take your feet wide. Hands come together, peel your torso up, and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, pull those knees in, rock a little bit. Okay, here we go. Last one. We don't need this yet. False alarm. Keep that block down on the floor. Last one before we hit our final pose, which is a plank. Sweet fun. This one's tough, so let's do it. Hands behind your head, legs float up. So you can choose to, if you'd like, keep your torso down on the floor and just lift up when you crunch, that's fine. Or you can keep the torso lifted. I'm a torso lifted kind of girl, but that's just because I'm used to doing these. So maybe the first time around, you keep your body on the floor. It's up to you. Take the legs up. Now you're gonna take your right arm across to the outside of your left leg, and you're gonna take your right leg and float it above the floor. When you exhale, we're gonna twist the legs. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, lift your heels like we just did, squeeze. Inhale, lower the left leg, cross the left arm over. Exhale, twist tie the legs. Inhale, back up. Exhale, lift those heels. Right leg down, cross over, and twist. Inhale up, exhale, squeeze. Left leg down, cross and twist. Inhale up, and squeeze. Right leg, cross, twist, squeeze. Left leg down, cross, twist, and squeeze. Right leg down, cross, twist, and squeeze. We saved this one for when you were tired. Left leg, cross and twist, and lift. It gets everything. Right leg down, and up, and lift. Left leg down, cross, and up, and squeeze. Last time to the right, cross, lift, and squeeze. Last time to the left. Cross, lift, and squeeze. All right, knees in. Grab the backs of your knees. Gonna roll all the way up. Grab your block on the way. Here we go. So now we're gonna take the block the same as we did between the thighs, but now, you know, we're not on our backs anymore. So the nubby edge toward your nose here. And if you've got a wall and you wanna do it with your feet pressed to the wall or your feet pressed to the front of your couch or something, that's great, you can do that. Otherwise, you're gonna come down into your forearms. I'm gonna set my timer, we're gonna do 30 seconds. Okay, nothing too crazy. Shoulders over your elbows. When you're ready, you're gonna pop those feet back. We're doing it. Keep firing up the core, squeeze the block, and breathe. Now 30 seconds isn't so long, but if it's been a while, it may feel like an eternity. So just find a gaze point, maybe look down at your mat or at your thumbs or something. And tell yourself this is all for the good of the world, and that when you're 80, you won't pee your pants when you sneeze because you've done this fantastic forearm block squeezing, drop your knees, plank pose. Take a second, hips back to your heels. Get punched in the gut with the block. We're gonna do one more. Actually, I think we're gonna do two more, and then we're done. Okay? Here we go. Squeeze the block. Find your forearms. Do it. Lift your knees. Try not to sink too deep. Try not to lift too high. Find that spot that feels where, like it's the hardest thing you've ever done. And then you know you're doing it right. Keep squeezing in. You got this. You're working the muscles in the pelvic floor, transverse abdominis, all that good stuff. Getting it to work now. Drop your knees. Take a second. Maybe take your fingertips behind you. Lean back. All right, last one. Grab your block. Go. Keep squeezing. Thighs engaged, back of the head stays lifted. I have a tendency to do this, but you want to keep everything in line. Push a little back through the heels as you squeeze that block. We're more than halfway there, guys. I know this third one is probably pretty tough, but keep the squeeze in. Embrace the shake if it comes. You're almost there. Find your gaze point. Take a deep breath. Yes. Drop your knees. Grab your block. Toss it at the TV or at the computer screen. You're going to flip yourself over. Take a second. Feet flat on the floor. Arms alongside. Lift those hips. Give yourself a nice big stretch as you press down through your heels. Release the hands. Okay. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Drop a comment below, let me know what you think. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I know it's precious time, so I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Namaste.